Hi, my question is for Tom Felton. What steps did you take to prepare yourself for Draco's role in the sixth movie, which is much bigger than it's been in the other movies?
There was lots of talks with David, and thankfully so. Like I said, I was a little bit nervous before about where we were going to go with it, but David was very clear and concise about where he wanted to go and his image of how Draco was going to be. So lots of talking with him and other cast members really about how their sort of relationships are, etc. On the actual day, lots of sort of zoning out, lots of just sort of staring at the wall by yourself, because he's a very lonely character and he's sort of in his own mind. So not a lot of socialising on set, unfortunately, for some parts, but generally it's definitely mostly down to the director.
This question is for Daniel Radcliffe. I've heard that you like to read, and I was wondering if there are any other characters that you draw from when working on your performance as Harry Potter.
Ali, you give me an excellent question, and in response you will get a very disappointing answer, which is, generally speaking, no. There'll be moments in other films which I'll watch.
Names. Give us names.
There was for all the. Funnily enough, this was one given to me by Alfonso when we did Harry Potter 3, was a film called The 400 Blows, which is a French film and featuring a character whose name I believe is Antoine Douanel, I think. And is that right?
I'm just going to say yes.
Oh, you're nodding at me like I was right. I thought you were going yes, Dan.
No, you're right, actually.
So there's stuff like that occasionally. But in terms of other books, no, not really, to be honest. I mean, occasionally I'll read a line in a book and I'll go, oh, that's great, I must use that, I must remember that, I must repeat that to myself when I'm doing a scene. I mean, I use a lot of poetry, actually. That's sort of a literary thing. I mean, I was doing a scene the other day in Harry Potter 7, and I was using, and it's a very reflective pre-death scene. And so I was using lots of Yeats and Titchborne and things like that, and it was great.
My question is for actually all three of you. I actually just wanted to know, obviously when you're filming a movie, it doesn't necessarily go in sequence. So how do you keep yourself in the right mindset as the character in order to continue the continuity of the film? Like, you film a death scene one day and the next day you go backwards. Like, how do you keep it real as far as your characters are concerned?
It was quite a weird thing when I kind of first started doing it. I always assumed that they'd just do it in order, really, because it just seems like the most sensible way. Yeah, but no, I think it's got some stuff to do with kind of like locations and availability with other like cast people, and I don't know. It's quite weird, and you do have to kind of. It's quite easy to get lost, and you kind of think where, especially in this last one we've done, because there's two parts. There's kind of part 1 and part 2, and it does get a little bit confusing.
How were you able to make these magnificent creatures with your imagination and all these things?
Oh, we have a wonderful team of visual effects people and sculptors and concept artists. So if you put that whole team together, they would completely fill this room. There's literally, actually they would fill a number of rooms. There are hundreds of them basically. So we start with a concept, which is usually a beautiful painting that we evolve over a number of drafts. Then we get a wonderful sculptor to create that creature in a three-dimensional form. And then there's a team of animators who will then scan that sculpture, put it into the computer, and then animate it and bring it to life. And each stage of that process, we get involved and we evolve it and develop it. So it's quite a lot of people over quite a long period of time working on it. It's quite complicated.
Hi, I'm Freya, and this is a question for Emma Watson. I was wondering what your favourite scene was to film in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Freya, great question. My favourite part to film was a scene I do with Rupert where Rupert's playing his first Quidditch game, and he's not doing very well. Ron isn't very good at Quidditch, and it was just really funny seeing Rupert on a broomstick for the first time and us kind of working out this scene together. It's really, I don't know, it really made me laugh.